A swimmer's perspective for the Apple Watch versus Garmin Swim 2. Which one is better? Is it the popular Apple Watch belonging to the giant? Or is it the underdog, Garmin Swim 2? The answer might surprise you. Let's try to answer which one is better and why. At the end of this video, you'll be able to make an informed decision by yourself. Let's go. Okay, before we begin, we have to establish who this video is for. This is not an unboxing video. This is not a tech review video. There's already a bunch of channels doing a great job already on that. We're only going to look at the customer experience, or rather the swimmer's experience, if you will, for these two products. Now, as a small disclaimer, I'm a swimmer. That's what gets me out of the house to do exercise. I don't enjoy anything else as much as I do swimming. I do that at least 3 times a week, and I enjoy the hell out of it. So let's find out which one of the two devices is the better pick for a swimmer's perspective. Let's go. Now, how we're going to do this is we're going to take both devices, so the Apple Watch and the Garmin Swim 2, and we're going to look at pros and cons for each. Let's start out with the Apple Watch. First pro for the Apple Watch is it has a beautiful design, as per many Apple products. So it looks very nice, it looks very lean, it looks very chic, and it has a pleasant thing to it when you look at it. And I love that. Now, you might have picked up on the fact that I'm a bit of a fanboy for Apple, but this doesn't cloud my judgment, as you'll find out later in the video. Another feature for the Apple Watch is you can pay with it with your credit card, and it's amazingly simple. If you go to the store and you have that thing and you beep beep and you pay with it, and it's smooth as butter, and I love that thing as well. Another feature which I like about the Apple Watch is the notifications. They look really cool. So if somebody writes to you on WhatsApp, Slack as I use a lot, email, and a bunch of others, I do see when an invoice is getting paid, and that's amazingly useful. Another super cool pro feature is the fact that it does so many things, which is amazing, and it might actually contribute to its detriment. The cons for Apple Watch. Number one, I think it's expensive in comparisons to the Garmin Swim 2. The Apple Watch starts from about $350 for the older models, and you can go up to, I think, $800 to $1,000 for it. So it's pretty expensive, and you know, you're paying more for the brand and the beautiful design and everything that I've said earlier. And you know, that's amazingly cool, but it is pricey nonetheless. Another con for the Apple Watch is the swim tracking is a disaster. If anybody has made any effort into trying to make the swim experience good, it's nowhere near good enough for somebody wanting to do actually this as a professional, or not even necessarily as a professional, but as somebody who does it at least 3 times a week and is expecting to improve their swimming experience, not day by day, but rather maybe month by month. And the Apple Watch isn't really helping with that. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I've been trying to track how much I swim with it in the pool, and I swam for about 1 kilometer and I wasn't able to track everything correctly. Now, out of 10 experiences of swimming with it, I had maybe 3 experiences when it tracked my swimming correctly out of 10, which is not really good, is it? Now, another thing which I dislike is when you start swimming, it gets locked, the screen, and I don't know how much I've been swimming. I have to unlock it in the water. I have to eject the water from it. I have to look how much I swam, and my finger is wet and I can't operate on it. As a swimmer, I'd like to know how much I'm swimming. I'd like to keep track of how much I had done and how much I still have left, rather than just having to always count the number of laps. Okay, now with open water, I can't say I had a good experience with that either. GPS tracking also let me down. And this one, although it's maybe a little bit better, maybe it's like 5 times out of 10 when it tracked my swimming correctly, it's still like a 50% chance that I'm going to not have everything tracked correctly. I did not like that. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a word from our sponsor, and you're never going to guess. It's us. Duh. If you want to use a Zendesk consultant's 10,000 hours to make sure you're getting the most out of your Zendesk, if you want to have simplified processes, if you want to make sure your team is productive, you want to make sure that your customers customers are getting the best customer experience, show management that you made the right choice with Zendesk, automate as much as possible to free up time for you, then hop on over to roka.work/offers and we'll ask you for your team size, we'll ask you for what kind of service you need, and then you leave your name and email and we'll give you a ballpark. Now, based on this estimate, we'll be able to see how our services best fit your needs, and if we are a good fit, let's start optimizing your Zendesk. We do this in 3 phases. First is we optimize Zendesk to make sure you're getting the most out of it. Second is we apply best practices in your niche. And third, we focus selling more of your service or product. Now, again, go to roka.work/offers, get a ballpark, and let's get the conversation there and let's start optimizing. I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, now it's the turn of Garmin Swim 2. It's cheaper. I think you can get one for $250 starting from there. So it's considerably cheaper than the Apple Watch. But let's ignore the price for the time being. Another pro for Garmin is the swim tracking is amazing. I can't stress enough how good this is. I initially started out from a Garmin watch, Garmin Swim 2 watch, and it sometimes failed to track my activity, and that's, I think, maybe 8 or 9 out of 10 times it tracks it correctly. So only once or twice out of 10, but more frequently 1 time out of 10 does it actually go wrong and it doesn't track correctly. I mean by this my pool tracking. This is very good and very accurate. It has this accuracy of maybe screwing it up once out of 10, and then in open water maybe 2 times out of 10. So either way, it has a really good tracking for my activity of swimming. Now, either being that I swim stroke or I swim a butterfly, whichever type of swimming exercise that I do or on my back immediately recognizes that I am swimming in a different way, in a different kind of rhythm, and it starts tracking a new interval. Now, any swimmers out there will know what this means. So it will essentially record how much I swim in a one position, and then it will switch to record how much I swim in another position, which is great. And if you're like me and you want to improve and you want to get better and you track your time, then you will appreciate this a lot. Okay, cons of the Garmin Pro watch. Design doesn't look as cool. It's kind of like a rundown Casio watch from back in the day with a little bit more graphics. You know, it has 16 colors to its name, so it's like a really backwards type of design, which is, I don't know, stuck in the early 90s. However, they probably did a lot of analysis and they came to the conclusion this is the best choice. So there is a reason for this. It's less fancy, but it gives you more features on what you need it to actually do. Notifications look like crap as well. I don't like them at all and I've turned them off. I have maximum dislike these notifications and I don't like them. It's not only that they look crap, but it's also good to have a life and not look at your phone or your devices all the time. So for your mental health, you do you, boo-boo, but I recommend that maybe, you don't look at your devices all the time. Another con of Garmin Swim 2 is you can't pay with it. So that is definitely not included in any way, shape, or form. So that is a big minus. I really like the fact that I could pay with my Apple Watch and I really enjoy that. You don't have this possibility, so you have less features. Okay, so now that we've been looking at all these pros and cons for both the Apple Watch and the Garmin Swim 2, which one do we like better? Which one do I prefer? And which one will you prefer after watching this video? Which one is the winner, you might be asking? I have to confess that the Apple Watch was actually a gift given by a good friend of mine. You're not going to believe this, but my friend Sever, I'm going to link him up here, he gifted it to me while he went swimming on his own somewhere in the ocean where we normally went for a swim, and he lost it. And it was only maybe like 6 or 7 meters deep, the water. I myself, I'm a free diver as well, and I love that stuff. And the next day, Sever and I went there back to the place, and I got my gear to dive, and I dove and I found it like Imagine that. Anyway, I found his watch, I gave it to him, and he was so impressed that he said, you know what, actually, I had lost this watch anyway, so you can have it. And he did gift it to me, and that was very nice. I'm very grateful. However, sorry, Sever, sorry, bro, but the experience of the swim is much better with the Garmin watch. I made up my mind, and I'm using this one. I think it's much better, and yeah, I don't know. This is just my experience. Now, the reason for this is because it has good tracking for my swim, and it knows when I change positions or I change my style, and it doesn't screw up as often as the Apple Watch in tracking my activity, and I think that's great. I know I have less features, but I get more from the thing that I actually need, which is for it to track my swimming. And I'm very grateful that it's doing that, and it's doing that well for a cheaper price even. So the Garmin Swim 2 is my pick and my win for this. I know that you might like some other features, and I am convinced that you will have something to share maybe in the comments. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'd be very grateful. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.